Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Sports Time HQ. I am your host, Fernando. Joining me today is my great co-host, Gary. Gary, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Wow, I'm enjoying life. I am exhausted. 7 a.m. shows are exhausting, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at 5 o'clock. I'm really tired myself.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. And I mean, the only good thing about it is that I can look at the waivers, and I have all the time in the world to look at
Right.
waivers while you guys are sleeping, and maybe find some underdogs that maybe we don't talk about or something
Yeah,
along those
that's
lines.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's been only the benefit. That's been my one benefit I've had so far. But we got a lot of things to talk about today. We got a lot of things. First off, Paul Tagliabue, former NFL commissioner, has passed away at 84. He was the 7th full-time commissioner and 5th chief executive of the league to be selected into the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Never heard of him, to be honest with you.
I think he was commissioner back in the 70s, I believe. I think it was it was a little bit a while ago,
Yeah, I see.
way before our time. I tell you that.
Right.
I tell you that. Um, Next up, Dan Quinn taking over defensive play calling from DC Joe Witt. Obviously, the Commanders have just not been it this year so far. Obviously, Gene Ganos being injured has also been the problem, but he is taking over at least for the rest of the season, at least for now, anyways. Most likely, maybe for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, there might not be any helping that defense because it's really bad.
It is.
Um, but yeah,
Dolphins. We know the Dolphins fans were excited when they made some in-house moves, and they're doing some more in-house moves. They have parted ways with coordinators, co-director, excuse me, of player personnel, Adam Engruff and Anthony Hunt. It kind of just looks like they're working to redo the whole in-house operations and maybe keep Mike McDaniel as the head coach.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they should just get rid of everybody. But
Start from scratch.
yeah, I think so. I think Mike McDaniel's done. I don't know if you I've seen any of his like post game press conferences, but they're just like he's
Mhm.
so out in left field during them, and he's just and he does has no idea what he's gonna say. Um,
Yeah.
like all the questions that he's being asked, and it's just hilarious seeing, you know, just how discombobulated he is, and honestly, he might be done. I don't really know what the Dolphins are thinking keeping him around. To be honest with you, I think that he's completely lost the locker room as well. I mean, there were, obviously the reports in the beginning of the season and off season where they didn't even hold like real practices or mandatory practices. It was like, you just show up whenever and put work
Yeah.
in whenever you can. And that's not how you run a football team. And of course,
No.
I have no necessary say in how you do run a football team, but I can tell you what, that's definitely not how you run a football team.
No, I agree with you on that statement. And I think if they do end up somehow keeping him around next year, I would say he is the number one candidate to be on the first one to be on the chopping block.
Yeah, 100%. Because truly, how much more can you take? I mean, you know, they've been to what, one playoff game in his tenure, maybe, I
That's
think.
crazy. That's
Two,
crazy to think
maybe.
about.
They've had talent over the years, like Waddle, Hill, even Tua when, before this year when he was fully healthy, was a solid quarterback. A-Chain, I think, is a stud. Um, the defense and offensive line have always kind of been like question marks, but like I
Yeah.
said, they've had talent to, get something done. They just have not been able to. So
Yeah, I guess time will tell. Time will tell for those Dolphins.
yeah.
Speaking of time will tell, time has told. Uh, Brian Dable is gone after halfway through into his 4th season with the Giants. Just seeing a fun fact about Brian Dable's Giants career. So obviously he had a 2-8 start this year. He is 20, 40, and 1 all time. But to put that in perspective, his 20 wins, his opening campaign season, he had 9 of them. So in the last 3 seasons, he's only won 11 games.
Yeah, well, I know some Giants fans have been calling for his head for a while now. I feel like there are two schools of thought with Dabble. You know, a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly don't really know where I stand with that. In all honesty, I haven't really given it much thought, but yeah, he doesn't have a great record being the Giants head coach, and he hasn't had a ton to work with, but I would say these are the best pieces that he's had. With Neighbors, Scatabo, and Dart, and obviously two of the three,
Hmm.
suffered season-ending injuries. Nothing he can really do about that, but I think it's a good move, in all honesty, because I see the vision with the Giants. They have an unbelievable rookie roster coming in this year with those three guys, or not Neighbors, but those two guys plus Abdul Carter. I mean, that's a crazy trio, and they're looking onto bigger and better things, and hopefully they can get a new guy in there because I think that offensive trio is going to be problems for some defenses.
Yeah, I think it is going to be problems for some defenses. And I didn't mind Dable as a head coach, but I think after Jackson Dart should have been in way before.
Hmm.
But also, I think not being able to win with Jackson Dart has been also the telling point to send him off packing because I think Jackson Dart has played very good football, and I mean for the Giants not to be able to win mainly any of these games, it's also something that is crazy to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see both sides to that coin because the games that he did win, like they won against
Mhm.
the Eagles, which was a huge statement win. But I
Yeah.
kind of thought that they were back, but then, you know, they just lost to who? The Chargers a couple weeks ago. Or no. Who'd they just lose to on Sunday?
Oh, the
I'm sorry.
Giants.
It wasn't. Yeah, I'm totally blanking right now. Um,
The Giants lost to the Bears.
yeah, they lost to the Bears, and that was a close game for the most part. I mean, I think they were winning actually for
Yeah, yeah, they were. I thought they were gonna
portion
win
of
the
it.
game.
I did too, but that ended up losing that, and so they have some times where it looked really good, times where it looked really bad. And I totally agree
Yeah.
with you. I think Jackson Dart should have been the starter from the get go, but at the same time, I also understand not rushing him into it because that's never the way that you want to go with rookie quarterbacks.
No, not at all. Not a chance. Um, we have another international game. It is the Madrid game, Washington Commanders, who will feature non Jaden Daniels, and also the Miami Dolphins. They'll be playing at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's gonna be a fun game. I still wish I was back in Europe because I would 100% be going to either this past Berlin game or this Madrid game. Mostly this Madrid game because it seems cooler to be in Madrid than Berlin, but just my
Uh,
take.
those, are, those are some pretty cool spots. But yeah, I think this is not going to be a good game at all. To be honest with you,
No,
I forgot who was playing. I just looked at the two teams.
Washington, Miami.
Uh, yeah, I mean, if Jaden Daniels was healthy, maybe it'd be pretty cool. Two bad defenses going at it, so we could get an offensive showdown. If I were gonna be honest with you, I can see the Dolphins pulling this game out. I really can. But then again, I can also see, you know, Tua looking really bad and Marcus Mariota doing enough against a putrid Miami defense to get the job done.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it looks like every other, not primetime game, because this isn't necessarily a primetime game, but, nationally televised game, like the game last night with the Packers and Eagles, like Steelers Chargers on Sunday night, like Raiders Broncos on Thursday night. Like the primetime games slash national TV games have just been absolutely putrid. So it would
Oh,
not
you want to
surprise
talk about
me.
Monday Night Football?
What's that?
Just how bad the game was
I'm
yesterday.
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch a single second of it until the Michigan
Don't worry, you didn't
game.
miss much.
I know. The only actually, as I was saying, or as I was speaking, I should say, I thought about the Colts Falcons game. Shout out to them because that was a great
That was
international
actually a
game.
really good game.
That was a great game. But
Man,
other
I
than
wish I
that,
was in
didn't
Berlin.
look
That
at
would have been the
all.
game to go check out.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
Uh, Cole and TikTok appreciates the roast. Bye week this week. Indianapolis, New Orleans. Two teams that if you have Jonathan Taylor, well, yeah, you need to find a replacement for him this week. Because he's not giving you 50 points sitting at home on the couch. I tell you that. And Indiana Jones and Michael Pittman, who also sucked this past week. Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara for Gary and anyone
Johnson,
else who has some Alvin Kamara believers. Tyler Shuck. Did I miss anyone? Tyler Warren,
Jawan
uh,
Johnson.
Jawan Johnson as well. Yeah. So big names. But hey, at least it's only two teams and not like six teams.
Yeah.
Let's go into the quarterback injury report. Basically, Gary and I, we run the rundown every single week of every single quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end that we've seen with injuries. We may have missed one. There's a lot of injuries that usually happen. But yeah, Gary, you know the drill. Joe Burrow, he's dealing with that toe injury on IR. Has I don't know. Anyways, he has his 21-day practice window has been opened. Joe Flacco obviously is the quarterback right now, but the 21-day window is huge. I believe he is also the number one quarterback to talk about right now. But anyway, CJ Stroud dealing with concussion. He remains in concussion protocol. My boy Davis Mills balling out. QB1 of the week last week in fantasy. Who would have thought?
I loved it.
Brock Purdy dealing with that toe injury. His week 11 status does remain unclear. Mac Jones could become the starter again in week 11. Jane Daniels, elbow injury. He has been ruled out officially for week 11, and he will not travel with the team to Madrid. And then Jackson Dart dealing with that concussion. This is something to monitor this week. We've seen concussions players not play the following week this season. So Russell Wilson, good thing Brian Daboll isn't the head coach because he'd be killing Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I guess one guy I'm like sick and tired of talking about is Brock Purdy. I feel like it's the same.
It's every single week since
It's the
week 2.
same thing every single week. It's like, yeah, he's got a shot to play, and then he doesn't. And he has a shot to play,
Did
and he doesn't.
did Brock Purdy ever go on IR?
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
His status has literally been unclear or in question for the
Every
entire
single week.
season. But yeah, obviously Joe Burrow is the big name here. Very happy to, have him back if you're an owner of him. He might not play for a couple weeks. I don't think he will until
Hmm.
Thanksgiving game. I think that's the date that the Bengals are eyeing. Uh, although it is definitely a situation to monitor because if the Bengals are pretty much playoff eliminated by then, well, I don't think they will be in 2 weeks, but
No, I don't
you
think
know
they
what
will
I'm trying to
be either.
say. If they're pretty much out of it, then how many, weeks do they have him play? Because
Yeah.
he's coming off the IR, so you're not going to have a guy who, you know, you really need to keep healthy play in games that just don't end up mattering in the end. But obviously, CJ Stroud's a name to monitor, but Davis Mills, hey, he cooked on Sunday, and I love to see it
He
because I'm
cooked. I picked the
rooting against
Jaguars.
the
I thought it was
Jags.
going to be a horrendous game.
Yeah,
Nah. Oh man, what a day. I was thinking actually to pick the Jaguars. If it wasn't for the Chargers on Thursday night, there was a thought of possibly picking the Chargers for my Survivor. Man, am I glad I didn't go for that. Top 5 now out of 100. Woo, still going strong.
yeah, nice, nice. There you go.
Actually, this is the first time I've really paid attention to Survivor because usually I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know, I sometimes miss a week or something and then boom, I'm out in the
Yeah,
beginning 1 week or 2. But this year I've paid full attention and man, I've been surprised I've gone this far, to be honest.
yeah, that's good.
Couple sweat weeks, but
I believe it.
Man, it's been something. For the running backs, Marion Hampton ankle dealing with that IR. 21-day window should have been open, should be open this week. Isaiah Pacheco sprained MCL, expected to return this week. Travion Henderson dealing with a knee injury, limited in Monday's practice. Ramondre Stevenson dealing with a toe injury, he was limited in Monday's practice. Terrell Jennings dealing with that knee injury, being evaluated, suffered versus Tampa Bay. He is being evaluated, but no, that's TBD. And then Bucky Irving dealing with that shoulder ankle injury. Turns out shoulder is more of the concern for him and is unsure for week 11 return.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, take it away. Take it away.
Well, I was gonna say another guy I'm sick and tired of talking about here is Bucky Irving, right? Like
Yeah,
he's so good. You want him to get back healthy, and
he might
he's
play this week. He's out. He
right,
might play
right,
this week. He's out.
right. His status is unsure for every week. It's looking like he might play on Monday and Tuesday, and then you get closer to Friday, and it's like, here we go again. So,
Mhm.
you know, obviously keep an eye on it, like we've been saying the whole time. I don't think he's going to play this week. Maybe he'll play next week, but again, you'll hear that from the reports. Travion Henderson, man, what a game for him, huh? Right, that explosion that we were finally
I
waiting for.
told you it was
What
coming.
what we knew that he could do this entire season, he finally did it, and of course he gets hurt. Hopefully that's not going to be a major issue. I don't, or I didn't actually see the play that happened, but I'm pretty sure it happened like earlier in the game than he came back in, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully he's okay there. I know that Mike Vrabel did not like seeing him go for 2 long touchdowns because that's not what Travion Henderson's supposed to do when he's in the game. He's supposed to be bad. Bad Trey. Bad Trey. He gets punished on the sideline when he goes for a 50-yard touchdown. You gotta more care.
Oh, I'm
No,
so hyped. I'm so hyped that he actually turned out to be good.
yeah. No, I mean he's a stud, man. It's just the biggest thing was can he stay healthy? And obviously that's in question right now, but I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Um, he had some big injuries at Ohio State, but the talent was always undeniable. Such a good athlete, really fast, and I knew he was going to be a stud as long as he could stay healthy. And I just hope that they can get him
Use him
our
properly.
because I mean I think we all know he's better than Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre hasn't necessarily looked awful this year. He's looked better than last
Yeah,
year. But who are we kidding, man? Trevion Henderson's the RB1, dude.
he is. He is the RB1. Albert, what's going on over there on TikTok? Let's go into the wide receivers. Zay Jones, torn Achilles, he's out for the season. Romeo Dobbs dealing with the chest injury, did not return in Monday's game versus Philly. Something to monitor this week. Keyshawn Booty still limited with the hamstring injury. Garrett Wilson dealing with that hyperflexed knee, still undergoing further evaluation. Chris Godwin, fibula, not expected to practice this week, so expect him to be out. Ricky Pearsall dealing with a knee injury, expected to return to practice on Wednesday. Brandon Ayuk dealing with a knee injury, not expected to have practice window open this week. Hopefully, maybe next week. Terry McLaurin dealing with the quad injury will travel to Madrid, but he's out for week 11 again. Traylon Burks dealing with the finger, ruled out and will not travel to Madrid with the team. Devontae Adams dealing with a oblique injury. McVay states that he could have returned to the game if it was closer, but he should be okay. And then this is a late addition, at least for me, since I woke up just a little while ago. Travis Hunter has had knee surgery and he is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it sucks. Obviously the last week or two he's been dealing with some knee injury and just so happens that
They've been
it
so
was
vague with
weeks.
it.
I know they have. I was very surprised, honestly, that it was a season-ending injury. I didn't think it was going to be that, but it is, and really sucks to see because he's such a special talent. But I have to wonder: is it because he's playing as many snaps as he is?
Hmm.
And I hope it's not. I hope it's just that's what happened. But I said before the draft, like I just don't think it's going to work out this way, and I think he needs to stick to one side of the field. I personally think he's a much better corner than receiver. He can take snaps at receiver, but I think they need to be limited.
Yeah,
That's just me personally. But fact of the matter is he's hurt. Hopefully he can come back next year and be the stud that we know he is. As for these
very
guys,
hope
though,
he could be.
yeah, right, exactly. As for these guys, though, you need Devontae Adams to get healthy. Wide receiver 7, he's been going off the last couple of
Mm,
weeks. that Rams offense has just been cooking with gas. Stafford looks great. Nakua, I mean, he's still what, top 3, top 4 wide receiver in fantasy. Is he finally healthy now? Like fully healthy? Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he's, finally back. They look great. But those guys, you're gonna have to have stay healthy because they're putting up like 18 to 20 a game right now.
I think biggest one for me is Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, they said he was going to come back. I'm expecting him to maybe come back after the bye week. I believe the 49ers have late. Terry McLaurin, also another one. Just my goodness. I mean, this is a guy that
Mhm.
should have been on IR since he's missed so many games. But every week it's again, oh, he'll play. He might play. Oh, he won't play. So yeah, it's been brutal. But I agree with you, especially with Devontae Adams. I mean, he has been balling. I've said it for the last like 2 seasons. When the heck is he going to start to suck? It just has not happened yet.
No, I mean, he's looked great, and who would have known, right?
I
But
would have known.
we need to see IU come back, man, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a believer right now. Uh, I mean, last year he didn't show anything. He had one good game, and the
He
rest was
didn't.
horrible. We all expected him to, be great after he got paid, and it was a total opposite. He had one great game, and the rest just mediocre at best. Yeah, sometimes I thought he wasn't even on the field. Then he ended up getting injured and hasn't returned since. So I hope he can get back on the field, and I hope he can prove me wrong because I think, he's shown the talent. Like 2 years ago, he had people thinking that he was a fringe top 10 wide receiver in the league, and I didn't really buy into that hype. But, he showed that he had a great talent. I would like to see him get back on the field because no matter what, he's still a piece to this hospital 49ers squad that needs to be healthy.
Yeah, the 49ers are always the hospital team. The
Yeah.
hospital team, indeed. Let me see if this little thing, you might like this little thing. Breaking news. So, J.K. Dobbins could be a candidate for the IR for the Broncos.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, you don't like that breaking news? I got more breaking
Oh,
news.
not really.
I got more breaking news. Ex NFL star, who would think? Anyone but Antonio Brown. He has pleaded not guilty for attempted murder
Course.
charge. Just
Of
saying.
course. Who would have known?
Just for anyone. Who would have known? Who would have known? Cam, what's going on over there on TikTok? Penguin father, he's always in here. Is Tyler Lockett a good waiver wire pickup? We don't have him being talked about, but I must say, I mentioned Tyler Lockett a couple weeks ago when he went to Tennessee that he could be revamping his end of the career type of play. Sorry, Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think he's gonna be anything in all honesty. I think both of the guys that we have here are better options, which you'll hear in a few moments.
Yeah.
Um,
He could be
yeah,
definitely a
I just
streamer.
he could be a deep streamer. I just don't think that offense is good enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. All right, quickly for tight end injury report. Don Kincaid, hamstring injury. He is week to week. Brendan Strange, hip quad injury on IR to have his 21-day window opened. And Aronde Gadsden dealing with a knee injury. He did not return versus Pittsburgh this past week. It is something to monitor for this week during practice.
Mhm.
That's about it. You got anything? Anything else?
No, I think we
I can tell you didn't
talked
really care
about
about the tight
this.
ends to talk about.
Not really, in all honesty.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the biggest guy is Dalton Kincaid because he was finally starting to, have a couple good games, and Gadsden showed something as a rookie. So
mm,
Bretton Strange, he had a couple good weeks, and we talked about it. Maybe T Law can turn him into a good player like he did Evan Ingram, who is
yeah.
apparently not a good player. But yeah,
He
these
is
guys.
when he's on
Yeah, when
the
he's on the
Jaguars.
Jags. Yeah, that's about it, exactly. But, nah, these guys don't really move the needle for me.
Yeah, I mean, these are guys that you might pick up on the waivers and then maybe do good 1 or 2 weeks, and then hey, you're back on the waivers looking for another one.
Right.
Let's go into though our waiver wire quarterbacks. I am intrigued because we have some interesting names in this week's show. But I'll start with my guy and Mr. Jacoby Brissett himself. I mentioned last week during the waiver show and also during the start and sit show that Jacoby Brissett should be a sneaky play. And you know what? He turned out to be a sneaky play. He had 19.4 points this past week against Seattle. He has now had 19 plus points each of his weeks as a starter. He's been a top 12 quarterback in every single game as a starter. He has two upcoming matchups that are very, very favorable to quarterbacks. Kyler Murray's on IR. We may not even see him return for the rest of the way. Who knows? Maybe they'll give him another chance. I don't know. But San Francisco, nonetheless, gives the 10th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. And then the following week, Jacksonville, they give the 5th most to quarterbacks. I mean, these matchups are so favorable. If you need a reliable quarterback on the waivers, right now, I would believe that Jacoby Brissett is the guy.
Yeah, I think the same. I don't think there's any other player out there that's a better pickup than him right now. He's had what, like 18 or 19 plus points every
Yeah.
single week. Oh, you actually mentioned that yourself. But yeah, I think he's far and away the best guy available. I don't think the Cardinals should start Kyler Murray anymore, to be honest with you. I think they should look into trading him. If they do start him, I think it might genuinely just be to boost his trade value. I think
Yeah.
they can actually probably get something for him because at the end of the day, he was a number one overall pick and he's got talent. He's a mobile quarterback, which a lot of people believe you need nowadays. So I think that they could actually get a decent amount of things for him, just if they want to move on from him, which personally I really think that they should because their offense does not look good with him there. I think you drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall. There's no synergy there at all. Him and McBride, they have a good chemistry, but it's just the same thing over and over again. 10 dump downs a game to McBride. It's just not efficient offense. So I think Jacoby Brissett is a great bridge guy. They should just sign back to another 1-year deal after the season's over and
Very.
see what they can do.
Yeah, I completely agree on a short-term contract. I think this could be kind of like a Joe Flacco we kind of saw
Yeah.
when he was in Cleveland.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, Joe Flacco was him, and he just was winning games every single week. But yeah, I mean, cannot complain on Jacoby Brissett doing great. But I think this guy he flew under the radar for a lot of people. A lot
All
of
right.
people. This is some guy in the waivers that you need to not pass up on. Gary, who is it?
Well, he's available in 34% of leagues. So if he's out there, you gotta get him. This man is Joe Burrow. He's under 70% owned
Ooh,
officially.
Joe Shicey.
And, you know, I have to think that it actually might have been lower a week or two ago when, before this news came out, that he's designated off the IR. Um, he's not expected to come back until the Thanksgiving game, like I mentioned earlier, but I just figured I'd give you guys a heads up because he's going to be back for fantasy playoffs. And we all know that when he is healthy and he's playing at his top, you know, peak performance, he's easily a top 5 fantasy quarterback in the league. So, honestly, I couldn't really think of anybody else to grab. I think, you hit the nail on the head grabbing the number one guy, and there's no other guy that I think is worth picking up. So I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'll take the cheap route. We'll throw Joe Burrow in for the waiver wire quarterback pickup of the week.
Honestly, such a great mention because so many teams or so many leagues should have IR slots, and the fact
Yeah.
that he's not just sitting on an IR slot and Joe Burrow is just in the waivers,
Yeah,
absolutely wild.
I think what it was is that a lot of people didn't expect him to come back until
But still,
like the second week of December, which is like what?
fantasy
Maybe the
playoffs,
first
just about.
maybe the first week of fantasy playoffs. which
Yeah,
yeah, I think it is the first week of fantasy playoffs. So like me personally, I had him in a league and I actually did drop him myself. But that was because if I didn't, I genuinely would not have had a quarterback to play in
fair.
in my league, and I'm already pretty much out of playoffs. So it's like I personally had to make that move. I'm sure there are a lot of other teams that made that move, but on the flip side of that, you probably have teams that are fighting to get into playoffs or are already solidified in playoffs that might, you know, be streaming quarterbacks every week or just have had a weak quarterback play and they're elite everywhere else. This is a
Yep.
guy that we know is elite at quarterback. If he's healthy, he can get back to, playing how we know he can play. And maybe even if the Bengals are still technically playoff eligible, he's gonna, play his heart out, and that's exactly what you want.
Not to mention, I mean, he has Jamar Chase. He has T.
And T.
Higgins. I
Higgins,
mean,
right? Yeah, exactly,
he has the weapons to succeed still in fantasy. It's not like he had an
exactly right.
injury and he lost his whole team as well.
I think this also helps Chase Brown. I would
Yeah,
not,
yeah, I
you
agree with
know,
that.
I would not be surprised if he's a huge trade candidate this week. I mean, for me, two of my leagues are in their trade deadline after this week. So for me, I think I'm going to try to target Chase Brown personally because he has not had a great year whatsoever. And I'm sure I can get
The
somebody
last
who
few weeks
will.
he hasn't had too bad, but I
No, no. I
agree.
mean, well, the offense has just been better recently, the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Joe Flacco's been playing good. They've been moving the ball. And I totally expect him to do the exact same thing with Joe Burrow, but, even better. So I think Chase Brown is definitely a guy to monitor this week if you are looking for a guy to maybe make a move for.
100%. Jacoby Brissett, Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, our waiver wire quarterback ads of the week. Let's go into our running backs. Gary, for back-to-back weeks, let's let the people know who they got to go pick up.
Well, I think it's going to be Amari DeMarcado for a couple weeks, possibly.
Mhm.
Just because the running back position's so horrible. I'll be honest with you. I think the entire waiver wire has been really bad, at least this week. So you might see. I think I have two repeats on here. He's one of them. Uh, like
It's
I
not
said,
a
he's probably
bad
going to
thing.
be. No, it's not a bad thing, but I think he's going to be my pickup of the week until he's 70% owned. I doubt he gets there, but he's starting to score solid points 2 weeks in a row. Where he's had solid points. Carries weren't there, but he had some big plays that carried him to a 13-point week, and that was against Seattle's number one rushing defense fantasy wise. So I think if he can put up 13 against Seattle's number one rush defense, he can put up pretty solid flex numbers versus anybody that he plays. Playing against San Fran next week, who are I think middle of the pack against running backs. I think they'll be able to move the ball fairly well. They're at home, so I think Amari DeMarcado is definitely a touchdown candidate. And yeah, like I said, he's going to be my guy if he continues to score solid points and he has back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, 37% owned is something that I'm surprised about. But
Mhm.
again, it's been Bam Knight, Mari Mercado, Trey
Yeah.
Benson possibly might be coming back soon. Um, all about the matters of when will he come back. So DeMarcado, I cannot complain with. I honestly, if it wasn't for my next guy, I really don't know who else is there to go
Exactly.
get.
They're awful.
So
They're so
it's
awful.
so brutal to go get.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go into my guy. I think Gary's is better, but my guy's a little sneaky flex play, and that's
Yeah.
Tyler Algier. He's gotten to the end zone twice this past week, twice. So I know we're in Berlin and everything, which shouldn't change the fact of why Algier was getting goal line work when it should have been Bijan. So anyone who had Bijan was throwing things at the screen
Yeah.
because every single time it was a red zone goal to go, it was always Tyler Algier in the mix. But nonetheless, he has 6 touchdowns this season, fifth game this season with 10 plus rushing attempts. Sorry, let me restate that. Fifth game of the season with 10 plus rushing attempts. Favorable matchup this week against Carolina. Carolina gives about 22 points to fantasy running backs a game. I think it's a pretty favorable matchup. Will Tyler Algier get to 17.7 points again? I don't know if he will. Can't say that he will. But I mean, again, he's getting the attempts. 5 games, half the season he's gotten 10 plus rushing attempts. So that's not something you want to see as Bijan owners, but I think he's a guy that could be a sneaky flex if you are in need of a flex play, or if you just need a running back because those are also been brutally injury prone.
Yeah, I have Bijan in one of my leagues, and it is so aggravating seeing him trot out there, Tyler Algier, every single time. When there's a goal to go situation, he's the guy that's always a touchdown threat every single week, just due to the fact that that's what they use him for. I don't really understand it because Bijan is like top 3 running back in the game, and he can
Yep.
get you down the field. I mean, besides Drake London, he's your whole offense. So I don't know why you just take him out randomly and don't reward the man, but it's fine, whatever. I have Jonathan Taylor in that same league, and I have 1 loss in that league, so I'm able to, sleep at
Yeah.
night knowing Bijan's not getting in the end zone as much as I personally think he should be. But yes, it is annoying seeing Tyler Algier trot out there. However, if you're not a Bijan owner, this is a guy that you got to get. I picked him up a couple weeks ago in a separate league, and I played him, and I was very happy actually with the 17 points because, like I said, he's a touchdown threat every single week. He gets the rushing attempts in the red zone. So if you need a guy that, isn't going to give you 15 plus every single week, but has the
Mhm.
upside to do it, it's Tyler Roger.
Can I just say one thing? So in my paid league, I had 2 IR slots. AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin obviously was ruled out. AJ
Hmm?
Brown was not. I had to drop someone. It's like 5 bench slots. I dropped Tyler Algier before the game.
Mm,
I have a feeling he's gonna get
sucks.
picked up. I have a feeling he's gonna get
Yeah,
picked up, and there's
probably.
nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad because I see him in the end zone, and I'm like, man, of course, it just has to be him. The one
Yep.
week I drop him, he goes off.
Exactly.
So, Tyler Algier, Mari D, Mercado, our top waiver wire running backs. Let's go into our waiver wire wide receivers. Um, I had someone that I mentioned last week that could be a very sneaky play moving forward in the season. So happens to be Gary's favorite team. Jerry Judy popped off, by the way. Jerry Judy, my boy, Jerry Judy.
You did.
I told you Cedric Tillman is going to take the pressure away. Jerry Judy's going to succeed.
It's
Now, he is
possible.
not my waiver wire out of the week for wide receivers, but he is someone I'm definitely streaming. Probably my number 6 waiver if I had to pick a 6th one. Might choose him as my extra eventually. I don't know. But Ted Johnson's my guy nonetheless. 53% owned, 20 fantasy points this past week. I mean, he had another great week. Again, 2 times getting into the end zone. Last 5 weeks, he's put up a minimum of 9.3 fantasy points. So you're getting the base floor of 9.3 fantasy points. That is not bad. Not bad to be putting in and expecting just that little. Having a great second half of the season, I must say. No Evans. Godwin's expected to miss week 11, of course. McMillan's, of course, out for the year. I mean, sky's the limit for him and Ibuka. I mean, Baker's been playing crazy good. It's been really Ibuka, Tez, and Keith Otten for Baker's fantasy Baker's target shares. But for fantasy value, Tez Johnson and Amika Ibuka have been playing great. I mean, for them to score so many points against New England, still lose, that's crazy. Against New England's defense, by the way.
Yeah, Baker's starting to show tremendous confidence in Tez Johnson. And I guess for good reason. I mean, he's come through for him a lot. Just had 2 touchdowns, like you mentioned, this past weekend. So I can't frown upon this at all. I have been actually looking to pick him up in a bunch of my leagues too, but he's already been claimed. So nothing I can really do about that. I was sleeping a little bit, but yeah, you're right. There's absolutely no competition right now for targets. Obviously, Emeka Ibuka, but outside of him, he's probably number 2 option. I love Cade Otton, but it's
Yeah.
between him and Tez Johnson. In terms of wide receivers, Tez Johnson's obviously the clear number 2 there. No Evans
Oh
for the
yeah.
rest of the year. Godwin, who knows when he's coming back, and no McMillan for the rest of the year. So I couldn't agree more. And if he continues to play well, then he's going to be the solidified number 2. And even with Godwin coming back, it might not matter.
I honestly don't even think they need Chris Godwin or even Mike Evans next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I would like to see them re-sign Evans because he's still, an insane
They
talent,
will. They
and
will.
and he's their big target because
Yeah.
Igbukah doesn't have a huge frame and Tez Johnson's small. So McMillan doesn't have a huge frame either. He's bigger, but he doesn't have a huge frame.
Yeah.
Evans is 6'4", the guy that they've gone to for years when they've needed to play most. I think
That's
they need to
true.
re-sign him, even if it's just for 1 year. They owe him that at least, and Baker loves him. So I think that if they have that chemistry, they need to sign him back. So
I will say
I don't
future's
want to
bright for
say
the Bucks.
what's that.
Future is bright for the Bucks.
100%. I mean, I wasn't so sure about the Ibuka pick at first. Obviously, I knew Ibuka was a great player. I wasn't really sure about the fit. It helps that Evans and Godwin and McMillan all got hurt, but at the same time, who's to say he wouldn't have done this anyways? So,
That's true. That's very
but
true.
I think they need to sign back Evans, and him and Ibuka, you know, finish what they started this past year, and Baker's gonna cook again.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Who is your waiver wire wide receiver this week?
Well, like I said, the waiver wire in general is just pretty bad, and this is like the top guy that I could see on all my waivers. It's Darius Slayton, and he's not even the wide receiver one; he's wide receiver two. But he put up 13 points this past weekend. Not really expecting much from him, but Dart's been able to get him the ball as he's had 11 plus points in back-to-back weeks. That's without a touchdown. So if he's able to get in the end zone, then that's premier numbers that you want, 17 to 18 points. My only concern is that Dart might have to miss time with that concussion. I hope he doesn't.
Mm,
Of course, for all my fellow Dart owners out there, you need him to be healthy as well. But it's got that trickle down effect to having Russ out there might hurt Slayton and Wandale Robinson, Theo Johnson if you need to play him. All those pass catchers, you know, they obviously all have that trickle down effect as well if Dart's not able to play. But he's had 11 plus points in back to back weeks. Again, waiver wire is really not good. So if you're just looking for production, Darius Slayton's been one of the top guys right now that's sitting on the waiver wire.
yeah, I don't hate the pick. He's been bouncing back and forth between whether I should pick him up or not because he's in that like borderline, like, oh, he's played decent, but is he worth the pickup? So
Right.
I actually don't hate it. I think it's a solid pick. He gives you some good points, some good floor points, anyways. Good
Mhm.
solid flex play. Ted Johnson, Darius Slayton, our waiver wire wide receiver ads of the week. Let's go into our tight ends. And let me tell you, if you watched last week's show, you can tune off because it's the same players.
Yep.
Uh, Gary, take it away.
Well, like I said, I have two repeats on here, and this is the second guy. DeMarcado was the first. Dalton Schultz is my tight end of the week, and you know what? I'm honestly fine with him being my repeat because I tried telling you guys. I think 2 out of the last 3 weeks, actually. I think last week and then 2 weeks before that, I also had him.
Yeah.
Uh, he's just been playing pretty good. 13 plus points in 3 out of the last 4 games. During that stretch, he's had 8 targets a game. Both Stroud and Mills like him, but you could really see that Mills leaned on him to start. So if Stroud is to miss another week, I think Schultz is a must start because I trust him actually more with Davis Mills than CJ Stroud. Obviously, if you have top guys like Bowers or whoever
Warren.
else is Tyler Warren, whoever else McBride is playing good for the tight end position, don't start Schultz. But if you have a question mark in that tight end slot, I think you're starting Dalton Schultz with some confidence because, like I
Yeah.
said, he's got 13 plus points in 3 out of the last 4 games. That's what you want from a tight end, let alone a guy that you just randomly happen to pick up off of waivers. He's only 33% owned, so he's out there in almost 70% of leagues. Go get Dalton Schultz.
Yeah. I thought maybe with Davis Mills, he wasn't going to produce as much. Turns
He
out,
did better.
yeah, he did better. So I don't hate the pick. I don't hate the call. And I like it. My guy is actually going to be on a bye week this week, but I wanted to still mention his name because I think he is doing very, very good over the past 4 weeks, over the past month. Another amazing performance. He finishes a tight end 3 this past week. Obviously, the concern is about that bye week, but he may or may not be dropped. He may be added. Most likely, he's going to be dropped by a couple leagues, but he is 61% owned. He is the top waiver tight end, I believe, moving forward. At least for now, with Tyler Shuck, we know Tyler Shuck's the quarterback. Obviously, we wanted to see what he would do with Tyler Shuck, the new quarterback. He's played great. He's also had back-to-back weeks with a touchdown. I mean, if you have an extra slot to hold on to Juwan Johnson on your fantasy lineups, go get him. If you also have someone like Zach Ertz or like someone who's been struggling, maybe Hunter Henry as well, yeah, you can go get Juwan Johnson because I would put him above them at the moment. Beginning of the season, put Hunter Henry. Now, Juwan Johnson. Same thing with Zach Ertz. JD5 is no longer there. He only played great with JD5. But yeah, I think Juwan Johnson, I mean, 19.2 points this past week. Insane work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Shuck likes him, it seems. He's had touchdowns back-to-back weeks with Tyler Shuck at quarterback. Nothing really you want more from tight ends, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't need much from tight ends to please you. You're happy with that 10 to 12 point range. Anything else is a plus, unless obviously it's the top guys that you drafted early. But like you said with Juwan Johnson, the guy that you probably didn't necessarily expect to play this well going into the season, but you probably grabbed him off of waivers and you're very happy with it. I grabbed him off the waiver wire one of my leagues. I've been playing him over David Njoku, who I expected to be a top like 7 to 8 tight end in fantasy this year, and he just really hasn't been that good. So I dropped him, picked up Juwan Johnson. I've been very happy with it. He's gone over double digits 7 times this season.
Yeah.
He's tight end 7 on the year. So, I mean, he's quietly, maybe because he's on the Saints, but quietly had a really, really solid season. And if, you didn't take him here, he would probably be my guy if, also if I didn't want to take Schultz as well. But I think both of these guys are maybe flying under the radar a little bit, but they're the 2 guys that I think need to be picked up the most at the tight end spot.
Yeah, agreed. Juwan Johnson, Dalton Schultz, our top tight end waivers of the week. Let's get into the final part of the show, and that is the Thursday Night Football predictions. It is the New York Jets taking on my New England Patriots, who are indeed the number 1 team in the NFL, must say. Tied for at least the number 1 team in the NFL. Not only that, they managed to beat out the Bucks. They are officially legit, I would have to say.
Good win. It's a really good one.
It was a big win. This is a trap game, though, for the Patriots. It is an AFC East showdown. It's an AFC East showdown. I mean, just saw the Dolphins beat the Bills. It's such a trap game.
See, that's why I thought this game for the Patriots was the biggest. The Bucs I'm talking about, not the Jets. I thought the Bucs, that was the game that solidified their season. That's why I'm saying the Bills, I mean, a great win. You go into Orchard Park and you beat the Bills. Doesn't happen often. But at the end of the day, it's a divisional game. Anything happens. Like we just saw the Dolphins dominating the Bills. That's why I said this past weekend, I thought was by far and away your biggest win. So
definitely the biggest win for us.
That was a good win. Yeah.
But I just think, again, AFC East is just... The Jets just won against the Browns, but the Browns are trying to, I don't know, tank again or something.
Well, so are they. So it's like...
Yeah.
I don't know what to think.
So the over-under currently is 43.5. Gary, what is your score prediction, and who are you picking this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm actually going to agree with you. It's somewhat of a trap game. I don't think the Jets are going to come out and beat New England by any means, but I think they'll compete. I'm going to say 24-17 Pats hitting the under by a couple points.
I guess we will have to see if it's going to go with the under, because I'm going to take the over. 24-20 is my final score.
Okay.
I really thought you were going to go 24-20 as well, and I was going to be like, no.
I was thinking about it. Those are the 2 scores I was thinking about doing, but I think I'm going to stick with the under.
I think the Patriots are going to win this. It's going to be ugly. But I think they
It
might just
probably
pull out
is
that one.
classic AFC East. You know, it's low scoring, a lot of
Not
defense.
only that, classic Thursday Night Football.
God, yeah. I mean, at least the last couple weeks, right? Like, they've been really bad, and I think I picked the over in like the last 2 or 3 games, and they haven't even come close. So,
Well, you're gonna get a loss this week again. I tell you that. And
and that would
I'm
mean that the over would have to hit.
I'm desperately in need of coming back because we've had the same in the past, like, I don't know, 5 straight weeks.
Yeah.
I'm 3 games behind. This could help me. Or it
for
might
sure.
put you 4 games ahead. Who knows?
Yeah. Probably both.
But, yeah. You got any more breaking news? Anything else that I may have missed?
I don't think so. I've had majority of my notifications off, unless the Browns just fire Kevin Stefanski, which I pray. Please. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they'd fire Kevin Stefanski, but I would absolutely love it if they did. And believe me, when that breaking news happens, I will be the first one to break it.
Oh my goodness! For someone who loved Stefanski a couple years ago.
Me?
I thought you did. No.
I've never really been a fan.
Even when he was like coach of the year.
I've always said that I think that both of them were fraudulent, to be totally honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I've never really been a fan of his. Neither has my dad. We've both been his biggest haters.
Your dad's a Browns fan as well? Oh my goodness.
He's the reason why I'm a Browns fan.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Browns just stay Browns.
No, the Browns are gonna Brown, man. You lose to the Jets. That's
literally. Well, that's gonna do it in this week's episode. Again, make sure to follow us all over social media at SportsTimeHQ. But again, if you haven't done so already, go use that code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. Again, that is code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They'll use that code and you can get a free $100. You can never complain on that. Again, we are here every single week on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and on Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Again,
there you go.
Be sure to check us out. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do to be on the know now with our stream. Again, we'll be opening our sports pack breaks at some point this week. I don't know when because I'm dealing with exams this week. But hey, that's just how it is. That's how we go.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what we gotta do. And we got a little mosaic. You can never complain about mosaic break. Anyways, go follow my co-host Gary all over social media at GDPicks. I'm your host Fernando, and we will see you all on Sunday.